Hi, I'm Keely, and I'll be interviewing you today about something that we're discussing in my social policy class at Spalding. Could you tell us who you are?
Sure, my name is Benita Vanderstay, and I work for the YMCA Safe Play Services.
Okay. So, do you have any personal biases that you are aware of towards any particular group of people?
No.
None. At all.
If I had to choose one bias, it would probably be against, like, the older generation, but not really, like, a group of people, like...
Okay. Well, switching subjects, have you ever been to prison, or anyone that you've known ever been to prison?
Thankfully, no.
That's good.
Yeah, wow, no.
How do you feel about the prison system in the United States? Like, what you know of it?
I'm sorry. Yes, there's one person, but it wasn't in the United States, so that is my uncle in South Africa. I'm sorry, Keely, what did you say?
How do you feel about the United States prison system?
What I know of it?
What you know of it?
I think it's a joke what I know of it, but obviously I'm sure it's not, because I only hear about those cases that look jokey to me, but it's probably good, I guess. I think that a lot of people are in prison that shouldn't be for for things that are not very big, but,
That's actually, somebody else has already mentioned that too.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think, yeah.
I think that's a realistic feeling.
Yeah.
Do you care about what goes on inside of the United States prisons?
Yeah, I care.
Do you think that it affects us in general as a society?
Absolutely does, yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, switching subjects again, how do you feel about people who are victims of the HIV or AIDS viruses?
Oh.
Do you have a bias towards them?
My heart hurts for them. Whether it was contracted because of stupidity and just sleeping around, or however it was, I don't care. My heart hurts for them. It just hurts for them.
Do you believe that safe sex is important in our society? Like, how would you rank it on a scale of importance for American society?
Yeah, it's very important. Extremely important is how I would rank that.
Do you think that there's enough attention
placed
on it?
There's no attention on it, Keely. There's none. I think it's so important.
I agree with you. Have you ever known anybody with HIV or AIDS?
Yes.
Or anybody who's been affected by that? How did you feel towards that person?
Actually, funny enough, Keely, because my job before the one that I work now, with the youth that I work with now, I did work with special needs adults, like more adults, 18 and over. And so one of the clients that I had, she had HIV. And that was my first encounter that I know of with someone with HIV. And I'm not going to lie, in the beginning I was kind of nervous because, you get scared that, just by touching somebody you might get it, even though you can't. And I drove her places and stuff. But it was just a stupid thought, and after that one time of a thought, it was just fine. Obviously, I was glad I was aware of it, because if there were to be a situation that something happened, it's nice to be aware of those things, so I don't contract it myself. But I didn't treat her any differently or feel any differently.
As a person.
Great person, a human, a great person. Yeah.
Well, have you ever thought about HIV and AIDS in prison being a social problem in the United States?
Never thought about it until right now, when you were asking me. Never thought about it.
So how do you think that probably goes in prison? I know that you don't know, but how do you think?
I would think there's two ways that could go. I would think you have some people in prison who, because they're so angry and have so much hate because they're in prison, they're probably wanting to infect people just because they can, and which is a fucked up way to think. Sorry, I know it's a messed up way to think. But I bet you have some people who would do that, just like when they're out of prison, you have some people who would do that. Infect people just because they're bitter, And then on the other hand,
I hadn't thought of it like that.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
And there's a law against that. Did you know that, Keely?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people have been put in prison. If you don't let your sexual partner know that you have HIV, you can be put in prison for that. Because anyway, that's probably another subject, Keely. But I feel like you have that hand. You have people who are just so mad and angry that they're doing that, and then you have the other people who they're dying in prison, and it's sad. I mean, they have it, and they probably don't get the attention they need in prison when they have it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can only imagine. But I don't know. Thank God I don't know for sure.
Well, do you care about the people who would be victims who would be inside the prison system and be incarcerated? Would you say that you would care about those victims, have compassion and empathy towards them?
Well, yeah. Absolutely. I would.
Why would you say that you
I would have
compassion? Yeah.
Because they're humans. And regardless of what someone has done or whatever, they're humans. And I would never, ever want pain on someone, you know, or hurt, or... And I can only imagine the emotional turmoil these people go through, you know, having that, being infected with that. I would never voluntarily want someone to have to feel that, even if it was someone that I hated. I, as a good person, and as a human, would not want someone voluntarily to have to go through that.
Did you know that there's no mandatory testing when people enter prison or exit prison for HIV or AIDS? There's no policy that mandates it, like, you know,
Wow.
nationally. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Why do you think that is?
That's crazy. That's crazy. I think that's like that because probably those people are in prison, so they're probably looked as oh, they're in prison, they don't matter anyway, which is effing sad.
Hmm.
Sad.
Why do you think that, as far as like the government goes, and on the actual corrections officer side and prison responsibility side, like, do you think there would be a reason why they wouldn't fight for one of those policies, or want one of those, a policy such as that, such as being tested upon entry to and exit from? Why do you think that they wouldn't want that policy?
The workers, well, I don't know, because it would protect them. First, that's what's so messed up. First and foremost, it would protect the workers and the employees of the prison, the warden. It would protect them more than anything. And then, obviously, it would protect inmates more, too, because you would know, etc., etc. I don't know why they wouldn't want that. I would think you're an idiot for not wanting that. Because you want to protect yourself as much as possible. I mean, you're already in a, you know, violent kind of atmosphere.
Right.
You know, why would you... That would just like be saying... That would just be almost similar to saying, you know, some people have guns, but we don't know who. Like, why would you not want to be more protected? You know what I'm saying? Like, it might not be a gun, but, I mean, that's something that could still kill you.
Mm-hmm.
If you know?
And it would be
crazy.
important for those people and to protect other people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If somebody were to write a social policy, or somebody, you saw it on a ballot or something like that, would you fight for a policy to stop AIDS in prison?
To stop AIDS in prison?
That's the title of the policy, but what would be implemented is mostly the testing.
Yes,
proper
I would
health
absolutely
care
vote for
and
that.
things
I don't
like
understand
that.
how someone couldn't vote yes for that. Again, you're protecting... in essence, you're protecting everyone that lives in the United States of America. Because eventually, those people are going to get out. Or the workers who work in there on a daily basis, they go home. And if they get it... I mean, yes, you're protecting humanity. That's ridiculous.
That's okay. Well, thank you for your time and your input.
That's it?
Yeah, sorry.
This is...